Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at more of a budget offering here, and I haven't done one of these on the channel for quite some time now, so we're going to go ahead and do one of those again. But we're taking a look at the CRKT G.S.D. G.S.D. of course stands for Get Shit Done, and this is a collaboration with designer Liong Mah. So let's go ahead and get into the specs. Ships in a little cardboard thingy. Yeah, we'll call it good there. But yeah, this is a knife that interested me from the time that I saw it was coming out, and then I finally kind of jumped on one when GP Knives did their Black Friday sale. So I thought, why not? It came in at a pretty good price, so I thought might as well try it finally. But let's talk about the specs real quick, and then we'll get into the overall impressions and then the details. So this is, of course, I wanted to say a titanium frame lock flipper, but it is a stainless steel frame lock flipper. It has an overall length of just about 7.7 inches, blade length of about 3.3, and a handle length of about 4.3 or so. Now the handle thickness, this is one of the things that makes the knife really interesting, is 0.39 inches. So this is, without question, one of the thinnest knives that I have, probably the thinnest knife I've ever had. Thinking back, I know I made a chart once of all the different thicknesses on one of my videos just to see what the range was and what I liked. But yeah, this is the thinnest that I have ever had. So anyways, model number is the 3700. It does come in at 5.5 ounces, and it does feel hefty. That stainless steel adds quite a bit of weight. So, flipper, of course, it has a spear point blade. The blade steel is AUS 8. Not sure if it designates that anywhere, but AUS 8 steel, IKBS, as the logo would imply right there. And yeah, let's see, I think that's it for the specs. It is, you can go tip up, right and left hand carry, as you can see. And yeah, so last but not least is the blade, let's see, the blade thickness at 0.12 inches. So thin knife, very thin stock of blade steel here in the AUS 8. But alright, overall impressions. I really like what they attempted to do with this knife, which was to compete with some of the really high-end production flippers that are currently in the market and really popular, but do so at what I would consider rock bottom prices. So it is a frame lock flipper. It does have a ball bearing system. It's done in collaboration with Liong Mah, who is a certainly a very well-known designer in terms of tactical knives and folding knives and so forth. And the design itself is beautiful. They tried to give you a sculpted clip, and they tried to come in at a very reasonable entry price, which is, I don't know, I got this for like less than 50 shipped on Black Friday, but somewhere between there and, I don't know, maybe 60, 70 bucks depending on where you go. So it has all the makings of a great knife, but of course any budget offering is going to fall short in a few areas, and so we're going to go through and I'm going to talk about those. But overall, I like the knife more than I thought I would. So I think they did a really good job with of course, the price point consideration, and the fit and the finish and the materials they use. I think they did a really good job overall. I think that this knife is a pretty good user. Again, of course, it is a little bit heavier. It has different constraints, but we'll get into those in a little bit. So those are my overall impressions. Like it, pretty good, with some reservations, of course. So let's kind of break it down and start out with the blade here. So AUS 8, hollow ground. You do have very fine vertical striations here on the hollow grinds, and then a little bit more coarse satin flats right there. Hopefully you can see that. But the finish work on this blade is actually really, really nice. Beautiful satin finishes. The logos are quite... they're large, but they're not obnoxious like that. CRKT right there on the blade, I'd call it tastefully done. On the reverse side, the G.S.D, Liong Mah, I guess they've trademarked G.S.D, which, yeah, they get shit done. So, and then the IKBS logo. This one does have a serial number. I suppose it's, no, that's the model number, 3700, so that's the model number right now. Now the blade does pick up fingerprints quite readily. I did put some Aegis EDCI stuff on here as well, but yeah, again, I think the finish work is quite nice. This thing is hair shaving sharp, so came very sharp out of box. Great finish, and this thing is absolutely thin. You know, at 0.12 inches with a hollow grind, this thing is an absolute slicer. So I did take it through a couple boxes. You can see some pictures I put on Instagram just to test out kind of the ergos in a bit harder roll, and it sliced right through the boxes, the cardboard, without any problem. So again, really thin blade stock combined with the hollow grind give it really good slicing capabilities. Plus it was sharpened very, very well. So they executed the blade actually quite well. You know, a lot of knives that come out have rather thick blade stock and they cut, but they don't necessarily slice well. This knife, of course, thinner blade stock, full flat grinds, hollow grinds, tend to slice a bit better. So just in my use at least. Now up at top, there is some jimping, maybe medium traction. It's not terribly comfortable, but once you lock in and you start slicing, it's not uncomfortable at all. So that did surprise me in use, as opposed to just funneling the knife, is that the jimping served better in a use roll than in a, you know, just kind of funneling it, moving your hands over the top, which I know we all do. So anyway, so great work on the blade finish. Now let's jump to the flipping action. So even though that really thin blade stock does give you excellent cutting, one of the downfalls in terms of a flipper is that when you have a really thin, small flipper tab, it puts a lot of pressure on one point of your finger specifically, and it tends to bruise the finger actually. So, you know, I've been flipping this thing relentlessly, just trying to see how smooth it can get it on the IKBS. And I smoothed out a little bit. I did put a little bit of like break free CLP here in the pivot, and then blasted it out, and that smoothed it up a little bit more. But you know, flipping action is good. So I mean, it flips well. The IKBS does what it's supposed to do. Have I had smoother flippers? Absolutely. Have I had smoother flippers on stainless steel? Yes. And these ones are likely stainless steel, but you know, the zero tolerance knives, they're smoother, but this isn't bad, not at all. So I mean, it flips well, does the job. So, but again, the really thin flipper tab doesn't really disperse that force evenly across the finger, so it will tend to kind of rub in one spot and be uncomfortable if you're flipping it too much. So, you know, again, just one of the caveats: better slicing performance, less fun to flip for a long period of time, and you know, a little bit of the give with the take there. So, all right, that's it for the blade and the flipping. Let's talk about the lockup. So, of course, this is a stainless steel frame lock. Lockup is about, I'm gonna look around the camera, just about 50% here. And of course no stick, because you do have stainless steel on stainless steel. So, you know, I definitely prefer stainless steel contacts. If you get lube on the blade and it gets in here in the lock interface, it's not gonna, you know, cause any sticking whatsoever. So, you know, even though this would have been better in titanium as far as like a basic user, I definitely prefer stainless steel to stainless steel. So anyways, lockup's about 50%. Now the lockup is solid. You know, if I'm down, well, maybe just the tiniest bit of play, but if you come up here on the blade, since the blade is so thin, you actually feel flex in the blade. But if you come down here closer to the pivot, you just feel a tiniest bit of movement. Now I did have to Loctite the pivot. Didn't come with any Loctite, so after flipping it for a little bit, of course it started to go off center. And so, you know, just a little bit of blue Loctite in there, tighten it down, let it dry for 24 hours, you're good. But yeah, so slight amount of side to side, just a tiny bit. Maybe I could crank down on the pivot more to remove that, but you know, I gave it, you know, hand turn pressure, didn't over crank it or anything, so I'm just going to assume that that is just slightly present. Not enough to bother me, but you know, if you're a stickler, I don't know, perhaps it would. But all right, so let's come to the handles. So again, these are stainless steel, a nice tumble look to them. They're going to hide wear quite well, and you know, they are heavy. Of course, stainless steel handles, there's been no skeletonizing on the inside to reduce weight, as you would find with certain knives, so the balance is off. Yeah, it won't. There's certainly more weight here in the handle than in the blade, so not unwieldy to move, just not as balanced. You know, we probably give that more credit than it's really due in terms of actual use, but yeah, so 50% lockup, tumbled finish, some chamfering here on the sides that makes it quite comfortable in the hand. No hot spots at all, but it is a little bit slippery, of course, as you would expect. Although when I was cutting through the boxes, you know, and I had a good solid grip on this thing, it didn't slip at all, and I did feel confident in that cutting roll. So really not a big issue in that regard. There is a pocket milled out here for the pocket clip, should you want to reverse it. And let's chat about the pocket clip. So again, another example of something that I love that they tried, but there's always give and take. Since this is a stainless steel clip, and since it's so short, there isn't really a lot of flex in the pocket clip, as you can see. Now, it did work well. That gap lets it in and out of my jeans without any problem, but you know, if you have pants with maybe thinner pocket edges, I'm not sure. I mean, basically what I want to say is this type of clip isn't going to work with every pair of pants. It works well enough, and I like it more after you know, a couple days of carry than I initially did, but you know, again, it's not going to function as well as maybe a comparable titanium clip in the same length and size, or just a standard spring clip. But what they wanted to do was give you the sculpted clip with the flipper and kind of the whole, you know, the feel and the kind of sense of one of the high-end flippers, I suppose. So hopefully that makes sense. Backspacer, possibly G10, possibly plastic. It is just black, so it just kind of disappears. You don't really notice it at all. But yeah, so those are pretty much the you know, just talking about some of the good with the bad. You know, thinner handles, fairly comfortable, a little bit slippery, not the most fun to flip, but not bad. You will need to Loctite it. Balance is a little bit off, but you know, when it comes down to it, it is I think it's a really beautiful design, and you know, the finish works really nice. Look at the cutout here for the lock bar. You know, probably wire EDM. It's just very clean, very thin. It's not a huge gap between the lock bar and the handle, so yeah. Centering is, it came perfect, went off center, I Loctited it, recentered, it stayed perfect, so, you know, fairly well done. So yeah, I keep hoping that we'll see, you know, more knives, better knives from CRKT. I would have been really happy if they had spent, you know, twice the money on this knife and, you know, done more with it, I guess. You know, but they are a budget level knife company. They do want to keep, I'm sure, keep those offerings in that budget level, but I think that this knife, this size, this platform has a lot of potential. You know, maybe a custom version in this of the G.S.D. You know, I'm sure it's absolutely fantastic. But I think they really did a good effort here, and I like what they were trying to do, which is give you the best in a very reasonable price point. And they did deliver on quite a few areas that we went over here. Now I will be doing since you guys stuck around to the end, I am going to be doing a giveaway of this knife to you guys on my YouTube channel just for fun. So I didn't really advertise it on YouTube. I'm not going to put it anywhere in the video. But what I want you guys to do, if you're interested and you really would use the knife, and it wouldn't just be thrown in a drawer or resold or anything, then in the comments, tell me your favorite color and why. And so that way, if people come in, you know, they're not going to see that there's a giveaway. If they don't watch to the end, it won't make any sense to them, but I'll count that as your entry. I'll kind of assign you a number as it comes in, then use random.org. And once I do the drawing, I will post the winner in the comments section, or in the description box in the next couple days here. So if you do win, I will reach out to you, but you know, I thought that'd just be a fun way to you know, say thank you to you guys who actually watch all the way to the end. So anyways, comments or questions, let me know. I hope you liked the video. Hopefully this gave you an idea. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.